But hold on before we start. One, you guys have a huge impact on what we do, so thank you. Now he's gonna get mad at this, but the turnaround in this program, and you guys heard Noah up here, the things that he said about Coach Doege, it's one of the most impressive things I've been around. I've been doing this going on 28 years. We have a chance for success, and when Coach B was going through the process of interviewing all the coordinators, I had the opportunity to, one, sit in, two, watch from afar, and then three, go back and evaluate all of the tapes of the people that we were interested in hiring and then give my opinion. Not that Brent was going to take my opinion and that would be the decision, but it wasn't even close. And when you hire somebody, the idea is, do they want to be statistically good or do you want to win football games? And Seth has the mindset, air raid, all that great stuff. He has the mindset to win football games. And so we're very lucky in this program to have that mindset on the other side of the ball. And he's been unbelievable this spring. And we've made a lot of steps as a program, both on the field and off the field. But his role in that has been significant. So go ahead, you can start with your questions.
We still have a lot to prove.
No, there's no doubt. There's no doubt, but we've made progress.
Thank you, Danny. That's awesome.
Question for both. Brent Brennan noted just kind of the competition between you two. What can you guys elaborate regarding that?
Go ahead.
It's so funny that I just respect Coach Gonzales so much. I learn something from him every day. I actually sit in his unit meetings to learn, not necessarily like from a scheme standpoint. Yeah, it's fun to kind of understand like why he's teaching a certain way, but it's really more of like how he approaches his unit because they play with such energy. And like if you watch us, especially 7-on-7, anytime play is whistled dead, regardless of the whistle, they are like, there's 11 around the football. And he talks about it all the time, more population to the ball leads to more turnovers. And so I love the energy that he has with his unit, so I sit in it. And I was actually, him and his wife were sitting in a golf cart the other day. I walked up to his wife and I was like, I love your husband, because I've never had this relationship with a defensive coordinator before, right? So like we're both pulling the rope in the same direction, and we're both trying to get our units to play as one, and we got to understand that we need each other to do what we want to do. And I think both of us are extremely competitive too. So when it gets on the field, as much as we respect each other, we want to win. Whether it be a red zone lockout period, whether it be Skelly, whether it be 9-on-7, and there's no excuse. And so we're going to do everything we can to get our unit ready to win, and I think that's why, it's so back and forth. But at the end of the day, it's all respect, and we appreciate each other. And like I know we've gotten so much better because of what they do on defense and how relentless they are with their effort and the movement up front. I mean, it's coming all different places, and you better be ready for it. So there's a lot of things I've had to adjust just because over the spring, just to be able to attack him, and it makes it really difficult. But he's been, like I said, I know he sat there and said some really wonderful things about me, and I really appreciate that. But he's been tremendous for my growth as well. So it's been a very, very healthy relationship, and I look forward to growing it with him. I think our kids feed off of it too, because he sits in my meeting, I sit in his, because we're one, and I think we've been around places where it's the O versus D all the time, and there's no camaraderie built. Well, right now I know the defensive kids just as well as some of the position coaches, and he knows our offensive kids just as well as some of our position coaches. So that in turn I think is going to be, I think and I believe it'll lead to success.
I think that you don't have a choice in this day and age. All the coaches better touch those kids in some way or another to have a chance. I mean, you asked Dalton and Noah about the transfer portal. I mean, that thing's still got a week left before that thing closes. And the position coaches, the coordinators, the analysts, freaking equipment managers, everybody better know what's going on with those kids if we want to have a chance. And then not only know what they're doing, but make them in a way, I mean, all kids crave discipline, okay? Don't kiss their tail to stay. Show them why it's better for them to stay. And then you asked about the competition piece. I think Becky Burke, our new basketball coach, our new women's basketball coach, her press conference, I think she's freaking savage, by the way. I think she's a stud. And her assistant coach hire was outstanding. But she talked about being 1% of this world has this competitive nature that all they want to do is win in everything they want to do. And I think myself and Seth fall into that category because it doesn't matter whether it's in the hallways, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's staff meetings. I mean, we had a competition to sell season tickets, which I won, by the way, but we had a competition within the staff. And it's everything, it's going to be a win, whatever it is. And there's been some days where we whooped our tail, and there's been days it's gone the other way, and it makes us better across the board, which is outstanding. And when it starts at the top with Coach B and then the coordinators, I mean, Coach Navarre is just as competitive and has just as much fun within that environment, and it's going to breed to success.
At this point, through the 15 practices and all that, for both of you, do you see particular needs that you need to address in the portal, or hope that they're going to come from the additional players that are coming, the freshmen and the JUCO kids? Is that going to be enough?
On our side of the ball, we like where we're at with our probably top 15. We've got 2 kids coming up front in Zach Zilepa and Ezra Funa that'll be here in June. That will help with that depth. I said coming into this back in January, if we can find 7 to 9 D linemen to play, we found 7 to 9 that are good enough to compete in this conference at this level. Deshaun McKnight and Tia Savea have been a pleasant surprise, better than I thought they were. Trey Smith, what Coach Salve has done with Trey Smith in a short time, technique-wise and all that stuff, is unbelievable. Coach Salve is I talked about it when we had the opening press conference when he got here, about having to compete against him in recruiting and having to go against him in the time that I've done this. To be on the same team is even better than I thought it was going to be. And the buy-in, obviously when he was with Alex Grinch at Washington State and they did some similar movement type stuff, when you have people that don't question what you're trying to do, you have a great chance at success on either side. Assistant coaches need to fall in with what they're expected to do. And then that doesn't mean they can't have suggestions or they can't have ideas. But whatever the direction is, that's the direction, and everybody's going to be on board. And as a football staff, I think across the board. And I think another thing that I think is really good about Coach Doege is you have to be able to coach the coaches with what you're doing in a respectful way. And it's been phenomenal at that. And they understand who's in charge and what's going on. And that gives you another chance to be successful. So what we have, the pieces we have, getting back to your original question, because I go off on tangents, we have some pieces coming in the recruiting world. We don't count on any high school kids. But I would tell you that probably 2 or 3 high school kids are going to play on this football team. I think DeJohn Hinton is one of them, who's coming off an ACL. Now, you never want to bank on a kid, but what he's done, he early enrolled here, and his rehab has come significantly better than if he wasn't here, which was a positive. And then we'll see, nobody's closed the door on this portal thing yet. So if we have a domino fall, then we'll have to find a way to replace whatever that domino is. And that is a never-changing world in what we do today. You better be recruiting every single day. And having an idea of who's going to get in the portal and all that stuff. People can say all they want about tampering and all that stuff. Everybody knows almost every single college football player in the country right now, whether they're in or out of the portal. It doesn't mean you're actively recruiting them. It means that you're aware of who has good players, and if they decide to do something, then you jump on it right now. And so we'll address that as we go along.
Particular needs you think you identified?
With JB kind of going down early in the spring, interior-wise, the O-line, I'd like to potentially add one. We'll just kind of have to evaluate, where we're at in the next coming days on that thing, just because from a number standpoint, I don't really want to count on a young kid up front. And so, like I said, that's going to be a major discussion these next couple of days. And then, I think where we're at from a tight end perspective, even though I really, I think, and Coach Gonzales says this all the time, but TP is probably our most improved player on the entire offensive unit. And Sam's doing some really good stuff. And Cam's made some plays in the pass game, but you get kind of nervous only having 3 guys there that you feel really good about at the tight end position just because they get banged up so much. So, but that's another position we'll probably reevaluate as well. So, those two positions, maybe a potential lineman and another tight end, could be something we look into.
This one's for Coach Gonzales. How has being a head coach changed the way you approach being a defensive coordinator?
Significantly. Not so much as a coordinator, but as an assistant coach. I think I can provide value to Coach Brennan and nothing in the decision-making factor. But I can share my opinion without trying to be aggressive and not get. I mean, when you're trying to grow up in this business, you want people to notice you and you want to be assertive on certain ways, and that's all great. And good coaches should aspire to climb. But when you sit in that chair and you realize all the stuff that you have to deal with that has absolutely nothing to do with football, and then you try and get yourself involved in football or knowing what every single kid on that roster is doing. I mean, Coach B's doing a phenomenal job of recruiting this football team currently, on top of all the other stuff he's doing. I mean, we got caravans going on. We had a little caravan deal at the baseball game the other day. This idea of having the beer garden and kids zone on the field, I mean, all those things that he's entailed to grow this program within this community is phenomenal. And so whatever I can do to help, I can promise you this, I'm a hell of a lot better assistant coach now than before when I was a head coach. And that time was great. I have a hell of a lot more fun being a defensive coordinator than I do a head coach. I can promise you that. Now, the paycheck was nice, but this piece of it is, which I'm very blessed in what I've been able to do in this business that wise, being a defense coordinator and having the relationships with the kids that I do and being able to spend as much time as I do on football, it's a great blessing. But I think I've become a better assistant because of it.
Michael and Jason.
For Seth, how would you assess Noah's progress in terms of learning the playbook, processing what he's seeing, and getting the ball where it needs to go?
I have the best quarterback in the league, without a doubt. This dude he's different. He's picked up every single piece of information I've ever given him. Every now and then he'll want a ball back or maybe a read, but it's not because he didn't know what to do. He just in the moment processed it, maybe made the wrong decision through a specific look, or he was anticipating something that didn't happen, and he got pushed back, or he had to move off of his spot or something like that. But this dude is phenomenal. I mean, he's right where I want him to be. I mean, I feel like I can push it even further with him. It's going to be, he challenges me to figure out, like, what else can we do? What else can we do? Or what do I really need to, like, hone in on, because he is so talented with so many different things. So he is, I love that kid. I told him after our practice 14, I grabbed him and I told him I was so proud of him, because what you guys don't see is, he's always been Noah. Noah's a stud. I mean, he's super talented. You guys know that. He's a great teammate. He's very humble. You guys know that. But what you don't know is the leadership role he's been taking on. And when I first got the job, everybody's telling me, like, hey, we need this guy to be vocal. We need him to be more of like a presence when it comes to, like, talking, because he is such a really humble and great teammate, So he's all about just doing his job, and he's really good, obviously, at doing his job. But the last probably, 4 or 5 practices, he's kicked me out of the huddle so he could take it over. And there was times where, like, we would have a team run period, and Danny would get after us. And then we'd have a little break. And most of those times, I'm having to call the offense up to challenge them and saying, hey, we're down 14. What are we going to do about it? Or, hey, we lost that quarter. What are we going to do in this next quarter? Or, hey, we're playing with 10, not 11. We're playing with 9, not 11. We got to do our job, right? It's not, whatever it is to motivate them. But the last 2 times I've had to do that, he's kicked me out of the huddle. And the times that he did take over, we went. It was pretty special to watch. So I'm excited about Noah. I've never been around somebody like him, as talented and as like I said, as a great teammate as he is. And now that he is finding his voice amongst the team, because he's always had the pulse of the team, but now he's finding his voice amongst the team. And those guys will listen, obviously. He's by far our best player, at least on offense, you know what I mean? And he makes us go. So those guys are completely bought into who he is, and I'm super proud of him. And from a scheme standpoint, I don't feel like there's anything he can't do. I just feel like I got to fit like over the our recruiting season and over the summer. I really got to figure out like, okay, what is he best at, and what can we push this to? Because I think he can be really special. And like I said, I believe he's the best quarterback in this league. So I'm excited about him.
And he has the pulse of the entire team, not just the offense, which is awesome. And when you have that, you have something special and you have a chance. I mean, I was around a generational talent at the other school that's playing for the Washington Redskins right now. Noah's every bit as talented. He's not 6'2", but the leadership skills that he has, what Coach Doege's talking about, it's special.
I think, the other thing about that is like we talk about one of our philosophies offensively is talking about expecting to score. So it's like it's a confidence, it's a mentality. Like when we touch the grass, I don't want hope that we score. I hope we don't go 3 and out. I want to expect to score points every time the ball is put down. And he exemplifies it. And he gives me confidence as a play caller. It's almost like Noah's out there, we're good. Something good is going to happen. And so, like I said, he has taken, Coach is right, like he's taken over this entire team. He's using his voice. He'll give me credit, like, oh, I just needed somebody to show me how. And I'm like, bro, you knew how. He's just finally comfortable enough to go do it, right? Like he is a special, special player, and we got to do everything we can to build around him and to continue to develop around him because he gives us a chance to win any given week.
Danny, with the NFL draft coming up, Tyler Luke is in that mix. As the former special teams coordinator, what was it like work with him, and what traits does he have as an NFL kicker?
The most powerful leg I've ever been around. I recruited Matt Ariza to San Diego State, and that young man has a powerful leg, and he's proven it in the NFL. Tyler Loop has the ability to both punt, kick, field goals. I mean, if you look back at our kickoff team last year, we led the nation in giving up kickoff yards. We gave up 12. That was because Tyler Loop. We did not have guys on that football team that I felt comfortable, on that unit that I felt comfortable with, guys returning a kickoff. And it didn't catch up with us until we played TCU, where they returned one from 9 yards deep. And we're holding our breath because Tyler was a weapon that gave us an opportunity to use guys at other spots. I think he'll get drafted. He's a phenomenal young man. Faith is the number one thing in his life, which is outstanding. And he lives it every single day. He was good for this football team. He'll be great representation for this university. And he's going to make somebody's football team better. He had a 62-yard field goal here. We were willing to let him go all the way back to 70 if it would have come to the opportunity, because he would routinely hit him in practice. And that sounds silly, but he would routinely hit him in practice. So I can't wait to see where he ends up.
Chris, last question.
For Seth, you talked about just how special of a player Noah is and the command that he has, not of just the offense of the team. He's obviously not going to have T-Mac this next season, but can you just talk about the relationship that he's built with the receiver room? It really looks like he's starting to build some chemistry with Chris Hudson as well.
Yeah, him and Chris Hudson's actually, he's had a really, really good spring too. I mean, he's as dynamic as anybody in the country. He's like a cat. You know what I mean? Like he just bounces place. Like he can shut it down. He can split too. Sometimes Danny would come up to me and be like, "Hey, that play that Chris made on the sideline where he made a guy miss and split both of our guys. Like I don't know if we touched him." So he's made a lot of progress. And the thing about I talk about with Chris all the time, and I'm gonna get to your question, but with Chris, like, man, it's just an everyday decision to go be I want him to want to be the best receiver in the country. But I want that mentality. And that's just nothing. You can't just say I want to be the best receiver in the country. You have to change the way you think, the way you prepare, and the way you approach things. And I think he's done a good job of that. And so you're kind of seeing him progress. But Noah does a great job. He knows all those guys. He takes them out to dinner. He spends time with them in the film room. He spends time with them. They're always in Bobby's office playing a little shooting game. Whether it's sometimes it's not about football. Sometimes it's about like hanging out and creating like real relationships. But they all trust him. And so all those dudes feel very confident when obviously one's behind center, but also Noah. If you ask Noah, he's so excited about the receiving corps. I mean, every time I talk about it, we just talk. You know, when we talk personnel, he's always been, we're so deep at wideout. That's why he'll always say that we're so deep at wideout. He has a lot of confidence in those guys, and obviously we got a lot to work on and to improve over these next couple months. But he's very confident in the guys that we brought in and the guys that are here.
Hold on real quick before we cut out. See, I'm always cutting you off, Jeff. He ain't wrong. I mean, trying to cover Chris and Nunu and Luke Wysong and Trey Spivey becoming who he's becoming down here. You saw that deep ball. I mean, Coach Doege talked about when he first got here, I need a big receiver that we can throw the ball. Everybody on the sideline knows he's going to go get it. I mean, they're hard to cover. And we've got a really good secondary. And think about this. So my time at San Diego State from 16 to 19 when we were top 5 in the country, top 11 in the country and all that in total defense, we had 84 interceptions in a 4-year period. It's unheard of. Led the nation. We are more talented in the secondary here. So if we can get pressure on a quarterback between Traden Stukes and Dalton and Genesis and Marquise, we've got an opportunity to have an unbelievable secondary. Now, Dalton was up here and he talked about it doesn't matter if those guys up front, so we'll see what we are up front. We've made significant progress in the front 7. I'm excited about that group. But Tucson, do your part, man. Tell these kids how much you want them to be Wildcats. Because people are hitting them. Not that we're worried about. No, I'm not going to say we're not worried. I'm worried about every single one of our kids on our roster. Because they're getting hit up by everybody. And any coach can say that all that stuff and tampering, whatever. There's no whatever. Boosters allowed to reach out to them. So our kids are getting hit up across the country. And I think it speaks volumes for our culture of what's going on so far around here. But feel free to hit those kids on social media and let them know how much you want them to be in Tucson. How much you want them to be Wildcats, because the magic that was created here in 2023 with that 10-win season and that run that they had through the Alamo Bowl is because of the players. Coach Fish and those guys did a great job with that unit, but the magic is within the players. Doesn't matter what we do schematically and all those things if you're not talented enough. Red line, you hear it all the time out there. I mean, it's our mantra, okay? We ask our kids every single day. I mean, we talk about effort. 100 miles an hour, 100% of the time. Execution. Prove it. If you want to play, prove it. And then the accountability. If you screw something up, own it, fix it. That is the mantra of this program. And that's the magic that makes this thing run if you have enough talent. We currently have talent on this football team, but the city of Tucson wants us to be as special, and every Wildcat out there, let these kids know how special it is for them to be here, and help us keep them there. Because this community is outstanding. It's one of 3 college towns on the West Coast, in my opinion. That's a true college town. And there's something very special here. We're very blessed to live in Tucson. My family loves it here. Coach B's family loves it here. I mean, I think every coach on this staff is blessed to be at an unbelievable institution, and we've done a good enough job recruiting that we have enough talent. But we need the city of Tucson. And I know, I talk about it all the time. If they say bad things about us, that's okay. Because it means they care. And we want you to care. That's all we want. We want you to care. And if you care, when things that are positive happen, like the magic of 23, it becomes even that much more intensified. So help to keep this group here. I mean, if you want to donate to NIL, we ain't going to give it away. I'm not asking for that. But I'm telling you, to appreciate this football team, because there's something special that can happen in the fall if we have the pieces that are here and we add a couple more. And you guys do a great job of helping us with that message. And so thank you to you and everybody in this room, and that everybody that comes out and comes to practice every single day and watches what's going on. I mean, you guys are as important to our success in this community, second behind winning football games. And so I know I'm speaking out of turn for Coach Doege here, but we're willing to do whatever we can to help you all with your job, because you help us with ours immensely. From the recruits reading about themselves being Wildcats and being recruited and all those good things, to our players. So thank you for coming. Thank you for being a part of this, and hop on, because this train's leaving and there's a chance that it could be really fun come the fall. That's all I got, Jeff.
Now, I kind of want to double down on that.
So you got 2 guys that are going to be here. We're going to be here all night.
Because it's like you constantly question. You don't want to be naive to a feeling, but the feeling in the building is almost magic, because you add so many new pieces and you kind of wonder, like, how are they all going to vibe together? and then you have a quarterback that's kind of finding some command. Like when I stand in front of the offensive unit, I can tell you, like, defensively, because I sit in those meetings too, I got full eyes. Like our kids are bought into what we're doing right now. They're bought into red line. They're bought into Coach Bennett. They're bought into our offensive scheme. They're bought into our defensive scheme. They're bought into special teams. Like we can't get our kids to leave the building, which is awesome. And like if you go into Coach Oglesby's office, he's got a little bitty office, and there's like 13 O-linemen packed in there every single day because they love being there. So I do think there's some magic being built. If we can keep this team together, I think we have a really good opportunity maybe to shock a lot of people. So appreciate you guys, and thank you for all you do.
Bear down. Come look at the photo that he's talking about in Coach Ogle's room. Not his meeting room, his friggin' office that's like a 10 by 8, like 3,300 pounds of, I'm like, worry about the floor in there. Thank you guys. Bear down.